It is 5:33 p.m. We're starting the Calexico City Council, Calexico Redevelopment Successor Agency, Calexico Financing Authority regular meeting agenda, Wednesday, June 21st, 2023. We're calling this session to order. Roll call.
Mayor Ureña,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Ramos,
Here.
Councilmember Garcia,
Here.
Councilmember Manzanares,
Here.
Councilmember Moreno.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Seeing no public comment slips being returned to the city clerk, we will be adjourning to closed session at this moment. Hello, good evening, everybody. It is 6:34. We are calling this open session of the Calexico City Council to order. Ms. Gabby, if you could proceed with roll call.
Mayor Ureña,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Ramos,
Here.
Councilmember Garcia,
Here.
Councilmember Manzanares,
Here.
Councilmember Moreno.
Here.
We have a quorum.
We will rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Manzanares, if you could help us with the mission statement.
City of Calexico mission statement.
Together, we pledge to provide effective and efficient services in a courteous and respectful manner to improve the quality of life for all in our unique work community. Viva Calexico. Mr. Martin, invocation.
Thank you. I will do the invocation. Please bow our heads. Thank you. Heavenly Father, tonight we ask for your blessings for those who have been called to lead our community. Help us leaders how to fix things, what we need to learn, how we might need to change, and who do we need to listen to. Remind us that no matter who we are, we treat everyone with respect. Amen.
City Attorney Campos, closed session announcements.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. City Council met in closed session, and we have no reportable actions from closed session. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to the approval of the agenda, are there any motions on the floor?
So move.
So moved by Mr. Moreno, second by Mr. Garcia. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 The agenda is approved. Announcements. These proceedings may be viewed on the City of Calexico website at www.calexico.ca.gov the Friday following the City Council meetings. Community office hours with Mayor Ureña will be held by appointment. Please contact the City Clerk's office at 760-768-2102 to schedule an appointment. We have two presentations today honoring years of service for our employees. We're going to start by reading a proclamation honoring Marco Battani for 20 years of service to the City of Calexico Public Works. I'll go ahead and begin. Whereas the Calexico City Council believes that it is important that we honor and acknowledge those people who contribute to the citizens of the City of Calexico, and
The Calexico City Council here today expresses its appreciation to Marco Battani and honor him for his distinguished 20 years career with the City of Calexico and dedicated service to the residents of Calexico, and
Whereas Marco began his career with the City of Calexico in 2002, where he held the following positions throughout his years of service. 2002, Animal Control Officer. 2007, Water Distribution Maintenance Worker. 2008, Water Distribution Operator. 2017-2023, Water Distribution Operator 1, State Distribution 1 certification.
Whereas after giving the City of Calexico 20 years of dedicated service, Marco decided to retire on March 1st, 2023 to spend time with his family, and
Whereas the City of Calexico wishes to thank and honor Marco Battani for his distinguished service to the citizens of this great city and commemorate his many years of service.
now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Calexico wishes to express its sincere appreciation to Marco Battani for his loyalty to the City of Calexico and wishes him much happiness as he begins an exciting new chapter in his life. In witness whereof, I hereunto affix my signature and the official seal of the City of Calexico on this 21st day of June, 2023. Is Marco Battani or anybody from his family present today? If not, we will hold this plaque for him. Moving on to proclamation honoring Rodolfo Villanueva for 20 years of service. Whereas City of Calexico City Council believes that it is important we honor and acknowledge those people who contribute to the citizens of Calexico. And
Whereas the Calexico City Council here today expresses its appreciation to Rodolfo Villanueva and honor him for his distinguished 20 years career with the City of Calexico and dedicated service to the residents of Calexico, and
Whereas Rodolfo began his career with the City of Calexico on February 19, 2003, where he held the following positions throughout his years of service: 2003 to 2004, collection maintenance operator; 2003 to 2023, heavy equipment operator.
Whereas after giving the City of Calexico 20 years of dedicated service, Rodolfo decided to retire May 31st, 2023 to spend time with his family. And
Whereas the City of Calexico wishes to honor Rodolfo Villanueva for his distinguished service to the citizens of this great city and commemorate his many years of service.
now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Calexico wishes to express its sincere appreciation to Rodolfo Villanueva for his loyalty to the City of Calexico and wishes him much happiness as he begins this new exciting chapter in his life. In witness whereof, I hereunto affix my signature and the official seal of the City of Calexico on this 21st day of June, 2023. Is Rodolfo or anybody from his family present? Any representative? At this moment, we'll also hold the plaque for Mr. Villanueva. Congratulations to this 20-year milestone, Mr. Battani and Mr. Villanueva. Moving on. Moving on to public comments and public appearances, not to exceed 3 minutes. This is the time for the public to address the City Council on any item not appearing on the agenda that is within subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. The mayor will recognize you, and when you come to the microphone, please state your name and place of residence for the record. While members of the public are encouraged to participate, it is unlawful to disturb or delay the council meeting with personal or slanderous remarks. The City Council is prohibited by state law from taking action or discussing items not included on the printed agenda. If the item you wish to comment on is on the public portion on the agenda, we will take your comment when we get to that item on the agenda. Please direct your questions and comments to the City Council. We do have a list of speakers before me, starting with Ms. Norma Aguilar.
Norma Aguilar, 839 Heber Avenue, Calexico. I have a couple of comments, and I know you can't directly answer me, but perhaps the attorney, city attorney or the city manager can provide an explanation. It has come to my attention that there is a discussion or possible discussion of increasing our tax rate in Calexico. We already have the highest tax rate in the Imperial Valley, and to add another increment, I don't think, without public consultation with the citizens, I don't think it is correct, and I hope that there is some answer to my inquiry. The other point I wanted to ask about is what is the follow-through plan, or what is the next contingency plan in terms of our permanent chief of police? And finally, going back to the increment of taxes, I was trying to find the language for the Measure H sunset but it's coming up pretty soon. And considering that the city incorporates part of Measure H tax generation into the budget to continue to be able to operate, I would caution moving forward with that increment if you plan on renewing Measure H. Related to that, also, in the Public Ordinance Code, it allows for council members to substitute in lieu of appointees. That does not follow, that does not work for Measure H, as it is an oversight committee. And I can tell you that even if you might think that what couldn't happen, you wouldn't do it, it has happened, and it will happen. So I'm asking for the attorney and city manager to look into this, to change the ordinance to exempt Measure H from that language of allowing city council to substitute in lieu of the appointees. And finally, I want to thank Council Member Manzarrares for considering my suggestions. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Rison, Morris?
I'm Morris Rison, 2120 Banda. You know, I was born and raised in Calexico, as most of you know, and I resent the idea that if you call me a racist, you two guys are calling me a racist. You go to Mexicali media and you call me a racist, that I'm against Mexicans, I'm against blacks, I'm against Chinese. All my friends have different races. And yet you call me a racist. Too bad you can't answer me, but I'd like to get an answer for that. I'm really pissed off. You know, I was born and raised here, do my business here. Just because my skin is white doesn't mean I'm a racist. I have gay friends, black friends, I have all kinds of friends. Okay, now, you come out and you say that, you two guys say that you're fixing up Calexico, Highway 98. That's Caltrans, that's not you. You lied to the people as of day one when you ran. You didn't tell them you were a transgender. You didn't tell the people. They don't know who you were. And you're supposed to tell them the truth, but you lie and lie and lie. That you're fixing everything in this town. You're not doing that. You put that encampment out there. It cost the city $7,000. All you want to do is help the field workers because they got votes for you because you signed them up illegally. And we're still working on that. We're going to get you on that. Okay, so why don't you do the city a favor? You know, just resign so we don't have to work to get you out because we're going to get you out. You guys are going to be gone. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Rison. Ms. Hurtado?
Hi, Maritza Hurtado, 404 East 2nd Street. I am the coordinator of the recall for 2020 for Mr. Ureña and Mr. Gilberto Manzanares. I'm going to have to repeat exactly what the first speaker said. I've had this issue with you as well. You consistently call me a racist. You consistently do that, although you know that I am an immigration consultant, a very, very honorable one in this community. So that's very unfair that you continuously use inflammatory language when you conduct yourself as a mayor in this city. You all do. But I actually want to tell you all something about tomorrow. Tomorrow's a financial, very important day for all of us to learn about some money that's called ARPA. That's been going around here, and there's been a little bit of a power struggle as far as how this ARPA money is going to be spent. last week after the ceremony we had last Thursday, a very nice, peaceful ceremony, but it did have issues, and I'm very sorry for that for the community because we didn't have to see that. But these inflammatory, racist remarks that come from this mayor and this mayorship here, and the style that he has with all members of this Imperial County community, because we all have seen that you did that as well to Supervisor Ray Castillo. But all of that inflammatory actions and stuff, we're taking care of that. We actually are referring these concerns to ACLU, the district attorney of our city, because as you all know, we did have a director by the name of Gonzalez that did have IID take care of that issue and kind of control his diarrhea of the mouth. So here I want to talk about ARPA real quick. I don't want my time to go by, but you all need to know that there's a group here called IV Equity and Justice, and that IV Equity and Justice came here on the 29th of June of 22, and to talk about how they wanted to basically divert monies into what this group wanted. My question to you right now, Council, is who is IV Equity? Who funds them? Why is it that their information that they're providing to this community is qualified? Because we don't know who Daniela Flores is other than she's a very good friend of you guys, and she's very involved with you guys. And I saw her, how she disrespected our city manager, trying to act like she knows more. She does announce on all of her paperwork that hicimos el trabajo de la ciudad. Please, are you guys as citizens going to really believe a group of kids who has no resources to be able to say that they are responsible and accountable to the government? I'm going to tell you that Alexis Castro gave a very interesting slideshow together with another organization, another nonprofit, and they talked about that spending plan. And within that spending plan, that group, IV Equity and Justice, I'll tell you guys, it's called the American Rescue Plan Act webinar, Equity in local budgets. So Alexis Castro goes on to say that in his slides and all the stuff that's going on there, the way that they work is something that I already had been wondering about that was going on here, because this group of kids are radicals and they're extremists. And when they're like that, they are totally anti-police. And I found it. I found when in their training, lots of training, but the most important one that all of you as a community need to know is that within that, there's a slide that says that they want to be building a framework for the spending of ARPA money. And the most primarily scary, actually terrifying part of that for these young people to be growing up this way is saying that their plans are, it says here, defunding and divesting from policing. If that doesn't scare any of you to see these kids here involved in this council that deeply and that quietly, because last week there was an event. Hold on, you did not announce the budget meeting, and that's what I make sure that their community knows. Hold on, I also have a disability, sir. I also have a disability. So the thing is that I have a disability, and if you don't believe me, I want to just let everybody know that he is purposely not announcing to you that there is a finance meeting. Why don't you want to tell people that there's a finance meeting? You need to tell people that there's a finance meeting.
How much time?
Please, city, announce that there's a finance meeting. Please, city, announce that there's a finance meeting. That's all you need to do. You don't want to tell people what you're doing so they don't see what you're doing. We're going to fight for our money, and we're going to fight to make sure that we spend our money for our police that's going to take care of me right now. Bye.
Thank you, Ms. Hurtado.
No to that group, please.
Mr. Garcia. Jesse?
Good afternoon. Mayor Jesse Garcia, 600 block of Lincoln Street. On the 500 block of Grant Street, there's about 4 houses that has never had a sidewalk in front of their houses. 4 years ago, I went to check to talk to those people, and they told me, one of them told me that they bought that house in 1973, and there's never been a sidewalk. I don't know how come. In that section, there's no sidewalk. The sidewalk starts from Pierce going west on the south side for a couple of businesses. Then the sidewalk ends. nothing but dirt for about 4 houses down. Then the sidewalk starts again. I don't know how come there's never been a sidewalk. I mean, those people pay taxes also like we do, but they don't have the full service, no sidewalk. And they told me they would like to see a sidewalk in front of their house. I have come to the council meeting because on this, nothing was ever done. Hopefully, this council will do it. Hopefully, all right. And the other one, sorry. The other one, palm trees, the same thing. A few years ago, family Caloca contacted me about the palm trees in front of their house. There's only about 3 palm trees, which is right here, 700 block, 500 block, 522 Sound Street. And supposedly, it was decided to have them trimmed. The city was going to trim them, just those palm trees. It never happened. Yeah, I was asked for their address, for their information. Nothing has ever happened. The palm trees are still big, messy. The other one is the Familia Romero on 105 Emerson, the same thing. They want their palm trees trimmed or removed. And it's just those 2 families from all of Calexico who are asking for this. Yes, I know that we are short now, a lot shorter than before, on employees. But still, somehow we could do those 4 palm trees only. I went to the alley right here yesterday on the 355 3rd Street. It's the blood bank. And I saw in the alley, the dumpster is open, completely open. There's no lock. It's full of waste, trash, waste, medical waste. Some bags were in the ground, in the alley, with all the stuff from the inside all over the ground. I mean, probably syringes also, I don't know. That's a health hazard. I don't know how long it's been like that, but it needs to be cleaned up. Also, there was a pile of dry sticks, which is easily could be set on fire. Now, every time I come and I give this presentation, I never get no feedback. What's going on? And many things are never done. I hope it won't be the same anymore. Because sometimes I feel just I'm talking to a wall because nothing's being done. I just got a call also from Nosotros Park, a resident who lives here, that the lights are not working, haven't been working for quite a while. I guess that's why we got lots of graffiti going on. I volunteered to help, but I can't because of my back. But we will go paint over the graffiti. 3 days later, I will go by, and it was there again. Something has to be done. I mean, we have to get stricter rules to punish those people if they get caught. But something has to be done because this thing's never going to end. Well, for today, I think that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia. Ms. Amalia Hernandez.
All right, thank you.
Hello, Mayor, City Council, and Calexico residents. My name is Amalia Hernandez. I reside 1160 Rosa Street in Calexico. I am here to represent myself and all those in opposed to the pride flag in our own city, Calexico. I am here to represent all those who are too scared to share their opinion or who feel that they don't have a voice. I am a very proud American citizen. I'm a resident in Calexico. I am honored for all the men and all the women who fought, who sacrificed, gave their lives for our freedom. These men are true martyrs. The American flag represents every race, every man, every woman, every child, every religion, every belief and opinion. However, the LGBT flag, it's selective and does not represent every Calexico resident, nor did they fight or give their lives, did anything for Calexico or our nation. who has made a difference is Cesar Chavez. We don't see him being flown at our city hall. Many men and women who fought for us, that have given their lives, we don't see them being flown at the city hall. We have 12 months, 12 flags that represent something. Are we willing to allow these flags to be hung up at the city hall? For example, January is a National Mentor Month. February is the American Heart Month. March, Brain Tumor Awareness. We need to be fair. Our votes with our votes, because many Calexico residents did not know about their votes. Many of them were not even aware that the flag is hanging at our city hall. That tells you that the advertisement for Calexico residents' votes was not even considered. I was called by a friend at 1:30 and they told me, Molly, they might put a pride flag up. What is your opinion? You need to write to the city clerk, in which I did. My voice was heard. Many of my Calexico residents, they were not even aware. We voted for you councilmen, and we have our total confidence that you will make Calexico great. You know, our community, we need to be we need to fix damaged lights, parks. We need to remove graffiti, stop the drugs in our community so it can be safe. Sexual preferences is none of our business, nor concern. This is a private matter. Do not push LGBT beliefs to my children, to our community. In 1963, I'm not sure if you're aware, but the law removed the Lord's Prayer and Bibles from our school. Why? Because some families believed that they didn't want them to indoctrinate their children. So what did the law do? They left that to their family and to their home. So why is the LGBT trying to indoctrinate my child, our children in Calexico, our community? This is for the parents and their home. So in conclusion, I and my fellow United States citizens and Calexico residents want the pride flag revoked. I want this to be on the agenda, please, so we can, as a community, discuss this matter, because a lot of us weren't even aware. For Calexico residents, if you hear my voice, your voice matters. I know that I hear a lot of you say that everything happens in Calexico. Your voice matters. Your vote matters. We voted for these councilmen. We want change, and we do want this flag to be removed. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone else.
Seeing no further comment, actually, I did receive one from Mr. Peroni. Adelante.
Honorable Mayor, Gloria, saludos. Tengo ya más del mes que no te saludo. Te la pasas viajando. Yo quiero ser como tú. Camilo, Javier, I'm sorry for your loss. I haven't had a chance to tell you. Manzanares, well, I really have no relationship with you. There's nothing to say, but hello. Mayor, I take a little resentment in your comments that you made, calling us prehistoric, dinosaurs, racist. I seen you briefly at Planet Fitness, and I told you, Raul, you know, it's a recall. When I was back in office, they went to recall me. And I can give you names of people that went and recall me. Javier Gonzalez, Guillermo Hermosillo, Tony Tirado. And this is what my thoughts were. We live in Calexico. That's our politics. Se vale. Se vale. They're people that I talked to today. Don't harbor any resentment. Don't hate them because they're not aligned with your politics. You know, this is Calexico. We're supposed to work with each other. We're supposed to work for the betterment. And we're taking another path. I see a battle that I want to fly the pride flag. We don't want it. Besides, I really agree with the lady that just talked a while ago. She really did her homework on what she presented. But Raul, really, you got to put your pants on. You're the mayor, and you're going to get arrows, bullets from everywhere. Don't take it personal. It's part of the work. I signed the petition, and I wasn't shy about it. You know, I told you, and I told you why, and I'm telling you why today, Manzanares. I don't agree with your politics. They're not really constructive for us, because instead of uniting, I'm seeing that our city is being divided. And really, I haven't seen any great changes, anything good that we can report to. And this prehistoric dinosaur that you see here has brought millions of dollars of investments to Calexico. And I would ask you today, what have you brought in investments to Calexico? And I can name every project and their investment because I care for my city and I want our city to grow and we need the income. So when you see a recall, Mayor and Councilman Manzanares, you gotta really see that what am I doing wrong? You know, you have to start analyzing yourself and say, hey, there's definitely something I'm doing wrong, because it's not because you wear a dress or you put makeup on. That doesn't bother me or the people. And I've told you before, I like you. I've seen you here since you were 12 and 13 years old. When I was in city council, you used to visit us, and I saw an inspiring politician. But you need to align yourself. You need to talk to the people that are here today and really ask them, what is it that what's your necessity? What's the need of our city? Because flying a pride flag, you know, it's important to some people, but maybe the 2% of Calexico, no. I think we have things that are more important. I wish that we would get people with your activism and yours, but to do things to better Calexico, not to divide us. We need to work together. Promote your transgender, but don't do it on city time. Let's start working together to see what we can do. You know, we have a lot of youth. They need programs. And, you know, we don't have the programs that we had before. Look at our business district. It's really appalling. It's, you know, I resigned from the business improvement district because first I was not being heard, and I would take my time. You know, made no money on it because I wanted to invest my time to better Calexico. So again, don't feel like a victim. I was where you sat, where you're sitting today. I sat there and I took bullets, I took spears, I took everything. And it comes with a position. But now what you need to do, reflect and do the right thing, not for yourself, but for your community that you serve. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Barney. There's one further public comment. Mr. Arvizu.
Hello, buenas tardes, everyone. My comment was about ARPA and talking about how last year it was voted to approve a plan to try to bring support to those people that needed help the most in the pandemic. As a reminder, ARPA stands for American Rescue Plan Act, I think, or something. Basically, for COVID, rehabilitation. So the people that have been most affected by COVID are the ones that should be the most, supported by this. One of the things that was part of the project was the cooling stations, which you all know, it's super hot out here, right? Everyone needs a cold glass of water or an AC, a car or a house, but not everyone has that. Entonces, hay mucha gente que vive en la calle, hay mucha gente que trabaja día a día outside all day. Some of us have the luxury and the privilege to be working, sleeping indoors. But there's so many people that are sleeping outdoors. Los fileros, los que tanto. Nosotros, César Chávez. Pero nunca le damos ayuda a los campesinos. How ironic, right? So, right now, Calexico tiene one cooling station, que viene siendo la Quique Marena Library. It has AC, it has no restrooms and no water fountain, and they have water bottles. And so CNC, Calexico Exchange, is trying to provide water bottles to the library so it can give out for free, as well as we have our 2nd Street in the thrift shop for Calexico Wellness Center. So it's the thrift shop in front of the 99 Center, the purple one. So right there we have free food and water for anyone that needs it. No matter what you have, you don't have to show any kind of evidence to say you need it. You just got to go in and get a glass of water. And I wish Calexico had spaces like that, que te puedes meter después de irte caminando al parque y hacer tu ejercicio or go to Planet Fitness or whatever, or you're literally just going to the store. There's so many people that just walk to go to the store, and sometimes you just want to chill out at a place, you know? Be outside in the city. People say, oh, nadie se va a la ciudad, pero porque no tienes amenities, you know? So that's one of the, you know, projects. Y también there was like $3 million for downtown rehabilitation, which I don't know where that's the setup. I know downtown, because Rockwood Plaza was a whole bunch of like El Bloomberg project, so things are moving, but they're moving really slow from what it seems. Porque pues los ambulances ya llegaron, you know, we have worked on other stuff, and I think we should, ARPA plans should already been used. Porque ya pasó un año desde que decimos improve cooling stations, and to say we have another summer, yo le digo a los homeless people que le doy agua todos los días, like, yo les dije el año pasado, ya para next year, we're going to have cooling stations. We approved it. We won. Pero qué vergüenza decirles otra vez, next year again, next year again, next year again. Y los baños, no, next year again. Yo les digo, váyanse donde están arreglando acá en la Border Patrol Station. There's porta potties, and I tell them, go use the restroom over there. We should use those amenities as well, whatever we have. And people will use the wall if they need to. Pero si hay un little porta potty, someone at the back of a truck, como venden melones allá atrás, if someone can give out water, if we can have tiny cars or some person that can go around and give water to the people and help a community that actually needs help due to COVID effects, not like just gritty businesses trying to get maybe some part of it, which I understand. Business was affected. And there's been business grants to like apply to and so get support. But ARPA, it's for everyone. And everyone should be able to get that kind of support. So, eso. And plus, people fighting about flags and this and that. There's 4 other members up there that could be trying to get that flag up there. Pero if we're all looking at the mayor, we're just going to blame the mayor, right? Entonces, all those 4 other people up there could have put a flag. Those ex-cops or just pro-cop people, you know, like, don't talk bad to Raul when you can be talking bad to all of them, right? Thank you very much.
Moving towards the city manager's report, Ms. Colio.
Good afternoon. At the request of one of the city council members, I'm going to clarify the confusion that seems to be outside in the public, and it's something about increasing the rates of the sewer and the water system. For everybody's information, every water system or in any wastewater treatment plant must go through a rate study every 5 years. And the reason why it's done is to update the budget that they have for the next 5 years in terms of operations, capital improvements, and forecasting work that is to be done in the facility. So the water rates and the increase on the costs of the operations as well. So I know that some people think that the city council approved in 2021 an increase on the water rates. It has not been approved. This is done every 5 years, and it goes through a whole process. It's known as the Proposition 218, and people will get notifications 45 days and the bills about a public hearing and how the rate study is being developed. The city approved a rate study that needs to be done. A consultant firm that is a third party, and they review the expenses, they forecast future expenses, future improvements. They put it all together and determine the amount of the rates increases. At this point, we don't know if there will be an increase until the time comes. So I just want to clarify for everybody, no one has approved any water or sewer increases. It's only a rate study that needs to be done. And that's actually one of the criteria that we have in the audit as well. We need to review all the rates and impact fees that we have in the city. That's a finding on the audit. Thank you.
Esperanza, please clarify the $5,000 for
Oh, okay. So the Imperial Irrigation District was made available $41,500 for all the cities in Imperial County who has a summer pool program. So out of that amount of money, the city of Calexico received $5,000, and I believe almost every city received the same amount. So it's only $5,000 that is coming to the city. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Guido. I will talk about taxes and fees in my commissioner or in my city council comments as well, just for the public's awareness. Commissioners' reports, anybody from the commissions here to report? Seeing none, we'll move on to city council comments, starting on my left with Mr. Manzanares.
Okay, so I just want to report that I participated in the Congressperson Raul Ruiz's roundtable for farm worker services. He's putting together a coalition to come up with solutions regarding the state of quality of life for farm workers here in the Imperial Valley. I also attended very proudly the Pride ceremony here in Calexico. Want to report that it's the first time in the Imperial County history that one of these flags is being raised, following the example of the capital state of California and the White House itself. There was also a comment that kind of struck a chord with me on a señorita that was here before, who alluded to as if the community, the LGBTQ plus community, haven't contributed anything to society, which is just a complete disservice. We have service people, veterans, who are part of this community as well. As much as you want to deny it, there's also a reason why there was a law passed that don't ask, don't tell, because there is a community within our military forces that form part of it. The men behind organizing the biggest nonviolent protest in the United States history, where Dr. Martin Luther King gave the famous "I Have a Dream" speech in Washington, D.C., was organized by a gay black man who at the time was outed against his will by right-wing racist legislators of the time who wanted to discredit the movement. So these flags are important to this community because historically, yes, the United States flag represents us all, but historically, just like at one time during the civil rights movement, there was people who were opposed for these people to have the same rights as Caucasians. There is a current battle today against recognizing these people and their struggles. Right now, as we speak, there's a couple hundred bills aimed at this community and limiting their rights. So what we are seeing today is simply a repetition of history, of the civil rights history of the 60s, and I advise people to educate themselves before they find themselves in the wrong side of history. I also, this is kind of late, but I just want to give my thoughts on this. Attended the great groundbreaking ceremony for the new river, where there was a $48 million investment to fix the problem. And as I was in the event, hearing the stories of people who had been advocating for this solution for the last 50 years, I couldn't help but think that one of the biggest environmental hazards in the United States history took 50 years of advocacy for a problem that ended up costing $50 million, essentially. And while our government continues increases military spending, despite us not being in a war anymore, there continues to be rises in military spending up to almost $1 trillion a year. So if we put that into perspective, that is 1.5 million per minute. So what in Calexico took 50 years of advocacy, many of the people who started it are not alive anymore, was ultimately solved by $50 million, which is 50 minutes worth of military spending. That's very depressing to think about, that the United States thinks that our health is worth, or not actually worth saving, when we see billions and billions of dollars almost bi-weekly now going to the problem in Ukraine while we have problems back home. Just some thoughts that I wanted to share, and those are my comments for today.
Thank you, Mr. Manzanares. Mr. Moreno?
Thank you. Just one thing. I had an interesting meeting today with the city manager and a representative from the IAD on a potential project on renewable energy, where potentially our water plant can benefit from that. It's still in the making right now. There's a lot of moving parts in this project, but talking with our city manager, Golio, feels that it's a good project where we're going to offset some of the utilities, actually, especially the electricity that we pay there at the water plant in cooperation with the IED. Potentially we can save some money there. And it's a pilot program for the Taiwanese investors on the trip I took there earlier this year. So they came back today with a proposal, business plan. So hopefully that's a doable thing, and we're working with IED there, and Esperanza Colio, it will be in charge of that as more things develop on that. If it's a dual project, we'll bring it up to the city council and for the public of Calexico can also know about this project. That's all I have.
Thank you. Ms. Romo?
No comments.
No comment, Ms. Romo. Mr. Garcia?
Thank you. I'll be brief. I just want to start with something really positive. I know that the little ones are out of school now, so and I'm glad that that summer pool program really kicked off to a great start. I drove by and I saw lots of people, and I haven't really seen so much activity lately. People have responded as always, so that's something that is worth not just mentioning but continue to support and fund. So and on that note also, I want to make sure that all of you that are here and watching us, that please, if there is a meeting that you need to attend, it's tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about our budget, an upcoming budget. So that's something that is going to really determine what and how your funds are going to be spent, where are we going to be investing, not just spending. It's not about spending, it's about investing. So please do show up. Please do send your comments and state what are your priorities also. Where do you want your monies to be invested? So it is important that you show up 6:30 p.m. Be here, or send your comments. The agenda has been posted already online. Please take a look at that. It's really important. I can't really stress enough how important that is. Whether it's supporting our human capital here. I'm not going to mention any particular group, but just supporting what's important for you, for the city. And I hope to see you here tomorrow. And again, before I forget, congratulations to the graduating class of Calexico High School 2023. I know it was really great. So again, you're going to go out and do great things for Calexico. We hope to see you back in 4 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia. I do have similar comments. Tomorrow will be a very important meeting. Every budget meeting is incredibly important to the recovery of our city. Tomorrow will be no exception, but tomorrow will be even more important because it's the end of a very important fiscal year in the recovery of the city of Calexico. That meeting will be tomorrow at 6:30. I did talk about taxes particularly, and I just want to make very clear the distinction between fees and taxes, right? Ms. Colio mentioned about the methodology for the adjustment every 5-year period for sewer fees and other fees in the city. What I will be talking about is taxes. I spoke a little bit about it in the last budget meeting. I will talk about it again at tomorrow's meeting. But here is the main point. Today, I want to communicate to the community that I spoke to Lindsay Dale, and I wanted to get a cost estimate for what it would cost to put a ballot measure for this year, November 2023. It's unfeasible. It costs $126,000 to put it up for November, which is good because that gives us more time. Any taxes? Yes. I'll talk about the specific ones right now. Any tax cannot happen this year because it's too expensive to put something on an off-year election, right? So we're looking at 2024. There are 3 particular taxes that I'm investigating. The first one is not very controversial. We've been talking about it for a while, is a vacant lot tax. Other cities have taxes where if you have a vacant lot, an empty building, an empty residential structure or condominium, there is a small couple $1,000s that they tax and it generates funds for the city so we can pay police and fire to attend those problematic vacant lots. That one is a 50+1 tax measure for the general fund, taxing vacant properties so that we can put that money to things that resolve the issues with vacant lots. We've had a lot of burnings the last couple of years, especially in downtown Calexico, and there's a big need to resolve the homeless problem, drug addiction, and fires around those vacant lots. So that's the first one, vacant lot tax. And that one would be in the time frame for March of 2024, the proposal. And before then, we'll be doing consultations with the citizens around what they would like that tax to look like. November 2024 is when we're going to have the discussion about sales taxes. The City of Calexico has had a very bad experience with the last Measure H. When the financial crisis hit and we lost a lot of revenue in around 2014 to 2020, there was a multi-million-dollar hole, right? It's the reason we don't have any staff. It's the reason that we won't get out of the hole projected until 2030, roughly, that will meet our reserve requirement. In order for us to actually hire people, we do need more revenue. I project, based on department needs, that we will need roughly $2 to $3 million more every single year for us to be able to attend the staffing needs of the Public Works Department, of the Police Department, of the Fire Department, of all departments. Otherwise, we're not really going to be able to hire more staff in the next 5 to 7 years, right? So if we want staff in our city, we do need that new revenue, and it's not going to come from development alone. Understanding the history of Measure H and the financial decline, one of the questions that's going to be asked to the community, so that these funds are not diverted like Measure H, is to possibly propose quarter-cent taxes as opposed to half-cent taxes for restricted funds for restricted uses. For example, a quarter-cent public safety tax could generate $1.5 million for public safety departments and get us out of a whole lot of problems, hire a lot of people. Potentially needs to look like a restricted transportation tax, potentially needs to be a restricted parks tax. Whatever it has to be, it is only in my opinion, and based on the history of Measure H, that we might have to pursue a restricted tax. Those are going to be conversations that we're going to have aligning with the budget. It's all going to happen in the 2024 timeframe, and that's how we're going to proceed. So no resolutions have been drafted. We're still in the research stage. The only thing we have learned is that we cannot afford to put anything on this year's ballot. Everything's going to be deferred for next year. And that's good because that gives us a lot of time to speak with the community.
Norma Aguilar, I'm going to direct my questions to you, City Manager. If that is the proposal, would that mean that the money that is currently being used by the city to meet its fiscal needs, money that's getting divert from Measure H to probably like about $1 million, does that mean that that would stay with Measure H? And that tax would
There
be in lieu of?
haven't been discussions about the new tax or anything. This is just an idea
I
that
know.
he's proposing. The Measure H will continue their path. It ends in 2030.
Yeah.
So whatever is established, it will continue until the end of the Measure H.
Okay, so when it sunsets in 2030, then
Ms.
that's when that funding
Ms. Aguilar,
stream.
I think we would be more at liberty to answer that direct question tomorrow.
Okay.
Because the budget's going to be on the
I'll hold
agenda,
it-
and
I'll
I can
hold it
tell
till then.
you,
All right, thank
you
you.
know, exactly what could happen. Excellent. Thank you so much. And thank you for your work on the Measure H committee. I've never seen a more dedicated tax activist in the city. I love it. We need to be very mindful of and transparent of where funds go. Moving on to the consent agenda. All matters listed under the consent calendar are to be considered routine by the City Council, Calexico Redevelopment Agency, successor agency. Are there any motions?
So moved.
So moved, Mr. Moreno. Second by Ms. Romo. All those in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. Moving on to discussion. Number 7, Recreation Manager, discussion and potential action to authorize City Manager to sign memorandum of understanding between City of Calexico and Imperial Community College District for the purpose of providing courses in city facilities.
Ms. Gerardo will be presenting this item to you. This is, and just for clarification before she begins her presentation, this program relates to the senior community exercises. It's not completely stated on the agreement, it's a very broad agreement, but it's specifically for seniors classes during the summer.
Adelante.
Good evening, Council. This is an extension of an agreement. We've had MOUs with IVC for this class already. It's it's nutrition and exercise class for senior citizens. We've hosted them for the last, I believe, 4 years. So this is going to be the 3rd time that we renew the MOU. The only item that was brought up to them and us would be the increase in liability insurance. As you may remember, Human Resources is recommending a $2 million per occurrence on liability insurance, which IVC has mentioned they cannot meet, they cannot raise because they have a cap. That will be the only difference from the last MOUs that we had.
And so
Okay, and before we continue, I want to clarify something because I actually work with the HR department.
Okay.
For clarification purposes, the recommendation comes from the insurance company. As you may recall, the city lost their insurance years ago, and so the city, every time that we get a complaint, someone falls, something happens, the city absorbs that cost out of the general fund. And so part of the, when we exceed certain amount of funding on the complaint, so let's put a number. Let's say someone has an accident and it's more than $100,000. We pay the first $100,000 and anything else is being paid by an insurance that is not a full insurance, right? Our deductible is very, very high. So what this insurance for this type of claims is recommending that we have a $2 million insurance. It's not stated by the HR department. It's not. She doesn't make those decisions. It's being made by the insurance company. It's a recommendation.
So
Just wanted to keep you in mind.
This potential action on the table is to authorize the agreement with the $2 million liability or with the $1 million?
One issue that came up, because I spoke with Efrain Silva, who is the main coordinator for this project. He's the dean, one of the deans at Imperial Valley College, is in their current stipulations that they have for this type of programs with all the cities and the county, because I work with them also at the county level, they're only able to offer at this point $1 million insurance. For them to go back to the city council, they had to do a lot of changes and all the stuff that is going to be almost impossible for them to be able to meet the deadline. And we're going to miss the summer to be able to provide the services to the seniors. So what they're requesting.
Do we have jurisdiction to override the insurance company and accept the $1 million liability?
You have, because it's only a recommendation from the insurance company. There's no policies established right now that calls for a $2 million insurance. It's a recommendation. And we have been implementing that recommendation through all the TUPs and all the other items. But this is this particular agreement benefits the seniors communities that in the summers they won't go anywhere else.
Of course, it sounds like we can make a exception for this year, as they can budget maybe for next year to meet that $2 million deadline. Would that be the recommendation?
Yes, but you need to be aware that if something happens, we're running into that liability, and I need you to be making educated decisions. So you made that that recommendation.
We are aware. Okay. Are there any motions or comments, questions?
Move for approval.
Move for approval with which liability? $1
With
million?
the $1 million, because the $2 million
Okay.
it wouldn't go through. So.
Okay, sounds good.
I'll second it.
Second by Ms. Romo. All those in favor?
I didn't hear it. That's fine.
signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gerardo. Authorize, number 8, authorize city manager to sign work-study contract agreement with Imperial Valley College for fiscal year 23-24. Ms. Legaspi, adelante.
Sorry, we're behind.
Yes?
1 second.
Number 8.
Good evening. So the item before you is an agreement that we've had with Imperial Valley College for over 30 years. Every year, various departments, including the library, recreation, and police department, accept students, and we provide training, and we provide opportunities for them to, to get skills so that when they are ready to get a job, they have experience. So we only pay 35% of their salary, so it's a very good deal for us. And we are, once again, providing this opportunity to our community.
Okay, sounds great. So moved, Ms.
Second.
Romo. Second by Mr. Garcia. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. We'll move on to appointments by Councilmember Manzanares.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you. Gracias. Adelante.
I'd like to appoint Señorita Josie Felix to the Sales Tax Citizen Advisory Committee, Measure H.
Okay.
Efraín Morales Jr. to the Police Advisory Board. Erika Beliz to the Planning Commission. And Tania Diaz de Leon to the Business Improvement District.
Your commissioners are hereby appointed. Congratulations, Mr. Manzanares.
Thank you.
Moving on to future agenda items. Council, any future agenda items? Left, right. Okay, seeing none, there's no future agenda items. Motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Romo, second by Mr. Garcia. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion, meeting adjourned at 7:30.